Are religions all the same, and are they the cause of war? Watching everything that's gone down this week with the Taliban has caused some interesting discussions amongst different acquaintances in my life. Someone said, "See, look how dangerous religion is. It's the cause of all of these wars, and all religions are basically the same." But this couldn't be further from the truth. You can tell the fruit of a belief system by the moral hero it would produce if it was fully lived out. The Taliban ultimately believe that the type of God that the creator is one who wants to spill the blood of his enemies without mercy or grace and expects his followers to do the same. The scriptures teach the opposite, that God is merciful, compassionate, and full of grace, that creation itself demonstrates his graces, as he causes his sun to rise and his rain to fall on both the good and the evil. God's good nature can be clearly seen by what has been made. He's given us eyes to see and then created beautiful colors to experience through those eyes. He could have made the whole world gray. People must understand the stark contrast between a belief system that tells you to kill in the name of God versus one that says you should be willing to lay down your life in love for your brother, that your grace should extend to your enemies, that we should model Christ who died on behalf of the very people who wanted to take his life. These belief systems are not only not the same, they're complete opposites. Not only in what they claim about the character of God, but also in what it means to follow him. Now, many people say, but wars were fought in the name of the Christian God too. This is very true, but I can call myself a bird all day long, and it doesn't mean that I can fly. I'm not defining a Christian, a Buddhist, a Muslim, or a shaman by what they claim to believe. Religions are defined by what they actually teach, and people are defined by what they actually believe and live out. People who started wars in the name of the Christian God were not followers of Christ in any way despite their claims. Because Christ teaches that any man who claims to know God but hates his brother is a liar, and the truth is not in him. That being said, there are belief systems, such as those in the Taliban, whose view of God leads to evil. There's belief systems that believe in no God at all, but believe the fundamental purpose of life is self-fulfillment regardless of who you hurt in the process. These belief systems also lead to evil. You can't just write off all belief systems as basically the same. They're not. And whichever one you operate under, even if it's a non-supernatural worldview such as atheism, will dramatically affect how you live your life. Take the time to evaluate what you really believe about the big questions in life. If your values were fully played out, what would they produce? Where did you adopt your worldview from? Do you have a good reason to believe what you do, or are there holes and hypocrisy in your logic? Is your lifestyle cohesive with what you claim to believe? If you're someone who doesn't yet understand the difference between a worldview of grace versus one of retaliation, I think this story illustrates it well. The following is a story a Christian minister shared about a conversation that he had with a founder of Hamas at a peace talk. I'm going to read it to you, so I'm not talking in the third person. This isn't me. This is him talking. Do you know why the Middle East is the cauldron of hate? Because it's living in the logic of unforgiveness. We had met with the leaders from both sides, and on the last day we were there, one of the founders of Hamas, a muscle-bound guy who had served 18 years in prison for all the killings that he had been involved in. His son himself had been in prison, and he had lost many children, some of them in suicide bombings. We were all allowed to ask him one question, and when my question came, I asked him, "Sheikh, I want to say this to you. Not far from where you and I are sitting 5,000 years ago, Abraham, who you revere, whom I revere, went up a mountain. He took his son. You say it was Ishmael, Christians believe it was Isaac. Let's not get argumentative about that right now. Let's just agree that he took his son up a mountain." He said, "That's right." I said, I offered him as a sacrifice to God, and God stopped him in the nick of time, held back his hand and said, "Stop." Do you know what God said to Abraham then? He just looked at me blank. I said, "God said, I myself will provide." And he nodded his head. I said, "Very close to where you and I are sitting here in Ramallah, not far from here 2,000 years ago, God kept that promise, and he took his own son." I said, "Sheikh, this time the act did not stop." He just stared at me. The room was full of smoke from all the security people. I may never see you again, and you might not like what I'm going to say, but I want to leave you with this. Until you and I receive the Son that God has provided, we will be offering our own sons and daughters in the battlefield of this world for land and power and pride. When you understand this Christ who offers forgiveness, it's a message that's unparalleled. In Hinduism, you have to pay with karma. In Islam, you never know. Your good deeds need to outweigh your bad deeds. But the grace of Christ comes to you and says, if any man comes unto me, I will know why he's a customer. And if we confess our sins, he's faithful and just to forgive us our sins. For by grace you have been saved, through faith. This is not of yourself. It is a gift of God, so that no man can boast. I hope that you all can experience the grace of God, and I hope that you all have a blessed week.